work, to borrow a phrase, goes on. The cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die. And two Democratic senators have today come up with new tacks to take on health care reform, one of them inside the Senate Finance Committee as promised. Let's turn to Senator Jay Rockefeller, the Democrat of West Virginia and a member of that Finance Committee. Good evening, Senator. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Keith. Thank you.
Let's start with your news. Senator Franken introduced something he has titled the Fairness in Health Insurance Act of 2009. You have adapted it into the form of an amendment. Tell me what it is and what you're trying to do.
It's very simple. I really don't believe that all of this is about politics and process. And, I think it's about how people are treated. Do they get health care through their insurance or do they not? Do the insurance companies make so much money that it means they're not giving health care to the people? The answer to that is yes. So my amendment will be very simple, along with Al Franken, and that is that over half of the health care bill in the Senate is spent on subsidies for the insurance companies. Over half, $485 billion, so that they can, take in more customers and presumably do more business and make more profits. I think it's got to be about people and not about profits. And therefore, my amendment, which I may offer tonight, because we're still in session, is going to say that 90% of all of the money that the insurance companies get from these subsidies, $485 billion in the Senate finance mark, that they have to spend that on health care, and that the Secretary of Health and Human Services will monitor that. They have to spend it on health care. They can't spend it on administrative expenses and salaries. They have to spend it on health care. Now, don't worry about them. That's 10%. They've got left over. That's $49 billion. That's not so bad. But they have been ripping off the American consumers, and they have been putting profits before people. And in West Virginia, you just don't do that.
But if you can't get a public option at this point, how are you going to get Max Baucus to agree to anger the insurance companies by ever so slightly treating them as if they merited the kind of public oversight that we exert over, say, the casinos in Vegas?
I think it's a very hard vote to vote no. I mean, I don't know how he's going to vote, and that's his decision. But if you say they're going to make $49 billion on this, but to take that much money off almost $500 billion and give it all to them and let them have it, as 25, 30, 35 million more people pour into the health insurance market as we insure them, I just think that's unfair and unreasonable without their committing to spend 90% of that. House has it at 85%, 90% of that on delivering health care and proving that to the Secretary of Health and Human Services. It's a fair amendment. It's simple, it's fair, and it's tough. They're not going to like it a lot.
Back to the public option. Senator Harkin said yesterday that the votes are still there in the full Senate to pass it. Do you agree with that assessment?
I do. We had our meeting of all the people that voted for it last night and had a little press conference, and people kind of laughed at it. We didn't. I mean, we do feel a sense of momentum. It's the only time in the history of the Senate that anybody's ever talked about this. We debated this one public option, my amendment, for 4.5 hours. That's never happened. So a lot of people now are looking at all the Democrats who did vote for it. And we're not going to get a lot of Republican votes, but we're accustomed to that. I think we can get this. And I think the president needs to help, and I think, everybody needs to pitch in and work harder than they have been. And I look forward to it because it's the only way that people can be really sure of being able to afford to get health care in the future. The only way. Otherwise, they're at the mercy of the insurance companies.
Without getting too deeply into the weeds of his terminology, Congressman Grayson said that the only Republican plan is don't get sick. Did you think that was an important point for him to make?
I'm not going to get into that, okay?
Okay.
I want to pass my amendment.
Good luck with that. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator Jay Rockefeller, great thanks for revealing the details of that amendment.
Thanks.